Kristen Day, the Executive Director of Democrats for Life, is joining me today for this podcast because we are going to talk about where the political parties stand on abortion. Now, when we talk about abortion, I try to make sure I say this often. This is not, the issue of abortion is not a political issue, and I'm using air quotes here. This is a human rights issue. This is something that, regardless of where you stand on a whole host of issues, this should be common sense. In fact, every human being should be against the killing of other innocent human beings in the womb. Now, Kristen, tell me what the Democrat platform is and how did it get this way?
Yes, going back to what you were saying about, the parties were not, the Republican Party was not pro-life and the Democratic Party was not pro-choice back in the 60s and 70s. It really started to change within the Democratic Party in the late 70s when, we passed the Hyde Amendment in the late 70s. But when we passed the Hyde Amendment, it was a very bipartisan cooperation to get that language into law that says there will be no taxpayer funding of abortion. 125 Democrats voted for it, which is a huge number. So since that time, though, it gradually changed and became worse and worse. And we have been fighting that platform language and trying to get it to be more consistent with democratic values that say that you should stand up for the vulnerable. You should support those who need assistance. And we always say that who's more vulnerable than an unborn baby who really depends on the mother?
Because we know over a third of Democrats who say that they're registered Democrats have already identified themselves to be pro-life. And you think about these states where, these are like the swing states, the blue-collar Rust Belt states like Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, where you have a lot of union members, folks who are, proud union members, proud Democrats, who also are very religious, who understand that their child in the womb was a human being and shouldn't have been brutally dismembered simply because of their location or their size. So David Brooks had a really good article, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago in the New York Times. I talk about it all.
I loved it.
He said, he qualified with I'm a bona fide Democrat, I'm liberal, I'm totally for abortion. However, if we are going to be smart, maybe we should moderate on this issue of abortion a little bit because we need to win these voters in these Rust Belt states and we keep losing them. But what are the action items if you're a Democrat or maybe if you're not affiliated, but you want to help the Democrats become more pro-life? What are the things that we can do? Right
now is the Democratic platform. That is our most important thing right now, is to make your voice heard on the Democratic platform. It's the most important time in history right now for our party, because if we don't moderate it this time around, more people are going to leave the party. It's good for Republicans, but for Democrats. So, if you can, contact the DNC, contact your local Democratic Party, say the platform needs to reflect the values of a majority of Americans and a majority of Democrats who, majority of Democrats oppose abortion after 20 weeks. So a majority of Democrats oppose abortion after 12 weeks. So I think right now the most important thing we can do is fight this platform language and try to bring more moderation to it.